Mayor Tory, I understand you talked to Minister McCallum today. What have you learned about the Syrian refugees that could be coming to the city?
Well, we learned first and foremost, of course, that he'll be making a full announcement tomorrow of the plan that the federal government has now formulated for the admission of refugees to Canada. They went through, Minister Goodale was on the call with us, big city mayors, and went through the security measures that have been undertaken to allow Canadians to know that their government has done what both ministers indicated was obviously very important to all of us and to them, which is to make sure that people are people that we should be inviting to come to Canada. And then they basically took questions from the mayors with respect to some of the items that I would say as yet are a work in progress. We asked about housing, we asked about financial assistance, we asked about a number of those kinds of items, and while I know the announcement is going to be made tomorrow, I think it's still a work in progress, but I do know this. I think there's going to be a substantial amount of assistance coming from the federal government. And I also have the sense, by the way, that I think they have, decided that they're going to do as much as possible, as quickly as possible, because I think we'd all want that for humanitarian reasons, but that there's going to be a focus on getting it done right. And I think that's something that I've been advocating all along. That if that means getting it all done by a certain date, fine. But if it means getting it done as soon as possible, and that takes a little bit longer, I have the sense that's where they're going.
Any idea how many Syrian refugees will be coming to Toronto?
No, there was various mathematical calculations being done on the telephone this morning by various city representatives saying, well, if our province represents this much of the population, but I would guess based on that math that we'd probably see somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 to 2,500 coming to Toronto, but those numbers were not shared with us today, may be shared tomorrow, but as of this moment I can't confirm any particular number.
And is the city ready for it?
I had a meeting on Thursday. I had a meeting on Thursday with not only our own officials, but also with some of the agencies in the city that would have to be helpful in terms of housing and otherwise helping to settle refugees. And I would say we're on the road to being ready. The minister indicated this morning that he said that he thought these refugees in particular might be arriving in December, starting in early December. So we still have a bit more time to continue to get ready, but there's lots to be done. For example, and I would put out this call today, and we'll find a way to make it a more formal channel available. It was indicated by Ratna Omnidvar from Lifeline Syria that a lot of the children who've been in the refugee camps for some time haven't seen a dentist for 3 or 4 years, and their teeth, as a lot of people out there might understand, are not in good shape. And so we're going to need a dentist to step forward and be willing to donate some of their time on a pro bono basis to help some of these refugee children to make sure their teeth can get into better order. So these are the kinds of things that we're working on step by step: housing, employment, dental care, and so on. There's lots been done, but there's lots left to do.
Do you have any sense of where specifically in Toronto refugees might be housed in the short term?
No, again, we had only the most peripheral discussion this morning about the fact there would obviously be temporary housing that would be needed upon immediate arrival of the refugees in Toronto. And then after that, there was sort of, again, only the briefest of discussions about how, in some respects, they split off. Those who are privately sponsored would probably be looked after in terms of their housing by the organizations and individuals sponsoring them. Those who are government-sponsored refugees, there'd have to be another solution found, but there was nothing shared with us this morning by way of definitive answers for Toronto, for example, as to where the temporary housing would be, how long it would be available to these refugees, and none of that. And I expect some of that will emerge tomorrow, though I have the sense there are still questions that are being worked on and will be for some time.